some of the numbers that came out of the budget speech last week. Obviously, the usual increases in income tax and taxes proposed at sugar and carbon taxes. What did you take from the budget speech, and how do you incorporate these into your sort of business model?
So, I mean, I suppose I'm an economist by training, and I thought Pravin Gordhan did an amazing job with his budget. It is a tax the rich budget, and he's probably gone about as far as he could do in terms of that. You know, you can't go much higher than 45% top-rated tax, but that's not dissimilar to places like the UK or anything like that. In terms of the lower income consumers, they were largely protected in this budget. There was no VAT increase. And where they have been sort of slightly hit, you know, as you talk about the carbon taxes and the sugar taxes, yeah, that's going to get more expensive, but then again, they should be consuming less of it. So it's, you know, it's trying to nudge the population into better behavior. In terms of inflation, I don't really think it's going to have too much of an impact, and it's good to see that inflation is starting to come down now. So that alleviates the client's budget quite a bit. One of the problems we've had over the last few years is inflation has been running a lot higher than salary increases, particularly in the private sector. So that is a concern, but now that that's coming down, that'll alleviate some of the pressure. It's not really going to make too much difference. It's like people say to me, do you get an influx of clients when interest rates go up? When you're paying 60% interest, who cares? The problem is the unsecured, the expensive unsecured short-term debt, and the monthly cost of that debt. That's the problem.
So final question, Ian, how many calls are you anticipating this year, and how many customers are you looking to save money for? I mean, can you give us a monetary figure of the amount of money that you could potentially save this year?
Oh, I could have a shot at it. In terms of the number of calls, so in February, we got 11,000 inquiries in that month. From those clients, every inquiry, we speak to the consumer, we give them a free credit report, and we give them free impartial advice as to how they can solve their debt problem. So everybody who comes to us has a debt problem, and we give them advice as to how they can do to that. Probably about 30% of those clients or those consumers inquiring actually are over-indebted and need debt counselling. And then we have a more in-depth discussion with them as to what debt counselling is, what it can do for them. And probably about 60% of those clients then actually take up debt counselling and get themselves on the road to sort of financial freedom. I'm afraid still a lot of our inquiries, the consumers hear what debt counselling is about. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go and make a plan, and they go try and beg and borrow from other credit providers or family or friends to solve their problems. But really, debt counselling is the most effective way, and is a world-beating mechanism to get people out of debt. So this month we will help about 1,500 clients through debt counselling. We save our average client 98,000 Rand in interest and fees over the 60 months. So, yeah. Times that by 15,000, times it by 12 months, and then you've got your answer. I'm not going to do the calculation.
All right, Ian, thank you very much for your insight this morning.
Great. Thank you, Nick.
Cheers.